There is a frequency where fear cannot survive. A sacred space within you where terror dissolves like morning mist beneath the eternal sun. This prayer carries the ancient codes of liberation, transmitted through the consciousness of Thoth, scribe of divine law and guardian of transformative wisdom. It speaks directly to the part of you that has carried fear through lifetimes, through bloodlines, through the dense layers of forgetting. Here, you will not be asked to fight your shadows. You will be guided to transmute them through the alchemical fire of awakened awareness. This is a return to your fearless essence, to the sovereign consciousness that knows itself as infinite, eternal, unbreakable. Breathe deeply. Open your heart. Allow these words to move through you not as concepts, but as living transmissions of power, clarity, and profound spiritual freedom. I stand before the threshold of the invisible temple where truth breathes in silence and light reveals what was hidden. I call upon the presence of the eternal scribe, keeper of the sacred laws, architect of consciousness itself, Thoth, guardian of the ancient codes, master of the subtle worlds. I invoke your wisdom now. I open the gates of my spirit to receive the transmission that dissolves illusion and restores the remembrance of what I truly am. I align my inner being with the frequencies that transcend time and density. I recognize this moment as sacred. I acknowledge the power that lives within this prayer. I surrender to the current that flows from the source of all knowing. I feel the shift beginning. The ordinary world fades gently into background silence. I step away from the noise of scattered thoughts and enter the chamber where transformation occurs. I declare myself present. I declare myself awake. I declare myself willing to release what no longer serves the expansion of my soul. The voice of truth speaks through me now, dissolving the veils that kept me bound to shadows I mistook for substance. I breathe deeply into this space. I allow the sacred current to move through every cell of my being. I feel the ancient intelligence stirring within me, rising from depths I had forgotten existed. I recognize that fear is not my nature. Fear is not woven into the fabric of my eternal essence. It is a frequency I absorbed, a vibration I learned, a pattern I inherited from worlds and minds that forgot their divine origin. I stand now in the awareness that I am not the voice of fear. I am the consciousness that witnesses fear. I am the light that illuminates fear. I am the presence that remains untouched even as fear rises and falls like waves upon an infinite ocean. I do not fight fear. I do not resist it. I do not deny its temporary existence in the landscape of human experience. I simply recognize it for what it is. A distortion of perception, a forgetting of truth, a contraction in the field of infinite potential. I call upon the wisdom of Thoth to guide me through the labyrinth of conditioned consciousness into the clear space of liberated awareness. I invoke the sacred understanding that reality is mental, that vibration creates form, that thought becomes matter, that consciousness shapes experience. I remember the hermetic truth that the universe is mind. I remember that what I decree in the invisible realms becomes manifest in the visible world. I remember that I am not a powerless fragment trembling in the chaos of circumstances. I am a conscious creator standing at the center of my own existence, holding the staff of authority, wielding the words of power, directing the flow of energy through the lens of awakened perception. I acknowledge the fear that has lived in the shadows of my subconscious mind. I acknowledge the fears that were passed down through generations, encoded in my cellular memory, imprinted in my energetic field before I had language to name them. I acknowledge the fear of survival, the fear of loss, the fear of rejection, the fear of annihilation, the fear of being seen, the fear of being forgotten, the fear of failure, the fear of success, the fear of powerlessness, the fear of my own power. I see them all now, not as enemies to be destroyed, but as messengers carrying information about where I abandoned my sovereignty, where I forgot my divine nature, where I believed the lie that I was separate from the source of all life. I bring these fears into the light of conscious awareness. I do not judge them. I do not shame myself for having carried them. I simply observe them with the clarity of a witness who knows that observation itself transforms what is observed. I feel the presence of Thoth surrounding me, steadying me, reminding me that I am safe in this unveiling. I am protected in this honest acknowledgement. I am held by the arms of eternal wisdom as I face what I have been running from for lifetimes. The sacred scribe writes the truth in golden letters across the sky of my consciousness. Fear dissolves in the presence of love. Fear dissolves in the light of awareness. Fear dissolves when I remember who I am. I breathe into this knowing. I allow it to penetrate every layer of my being. I feel the ancient codes activating within my DNA, within my energy body, within the core of my consciousness. I am being recalibrated to the frequency of fearlessness, not the false bravado of the ego, but the deep calm of the soul that knows itself as eternal, indestructible, infinite. I align with the aspect of myself that has never been afraid, that has never been threatened, that has never been diminished by any experience in any timeline. I call this aspect forward now. I give it permission to take its rightful place as the governing force in my awareness. I set the intention that this prayer will work within me like sacred fire, burning away the illusions that kept me small, dissolving the patterns that kept me trapped in cycles of contraction and withdrawal. I declare that I am ready to live beyond the prison of fear. I declare that I am willing to stand fully in my power, to speak my truth, to walk my path, to embody the light that I came here to express. I open myself completely to the transmission of divine courage that flows through the eternal presence of Thoth. I am ready. I am willing. I am here. I release my grip on the external world. I withdraw my energy from the endless stream of thoughts that pull me away from center. I step back from the voices that demand my attention, from the stories that keep me circling on the surface of experience. I let go of the need to control, to fix, to understand everything through the limited lens of rational mind. I surrender the illusion that safety comes from vigilance, that peace comes from preparation, that power comes from defending against invisible threats. I dissolve the armor I built to protect myself from a world I perceived as dangerous. I turn inward now. I descend beneath the noise. I move through the layers of conditioning, through the masks I wear, through the identities I constructed to survive in a world that asked me to be anything but my true self. I pass through the realm of ego with gentle awareness, recognizing it as a temporary structure, a useful tool for navigating human experience, but not the totality of who I am. I am not my fears. I am not my wounds. I am not my history. I am not the stories I told myself to make sense of suffering. I am the eternal witness beneath all of this, the unchanging presence that observes the dance of form without being consumed by it. I feel the pull of the center calling me home. There is a place within me that fear cannot touch. There is a sanctuary in the depths of my being where silence speaks louder than chaos, where stillness holds more power than frantic movement, where emptiness contains the fullness of all possibility. I descend into this place now. I allow myself to sink below the turbulent surface waters into the calm depths where truth lives. I dissolve the boundary between seeker and sought. I merge with the field of pure awareness that has been waiting patiently for my return. Time loses its meaning here. Past and future collapse into the eternal now. I am no longer running from what was or rushing toward what might be. I rest in the present moment, the only moment that truly exists, the only moment where transformation can occur. I release the weight of memory. I release the anxiety of anticipation. I become present to what is, exactly as it is, without resistance, without the need to change anything before I can be at peace. I breathe into this radical acceptance. I allow myself to simply be, without agenda, without destination, without the constant striving that exhausts my spirit. The chatter of the mind begins to quiet. The voices that whispered warnings and predicted catastrophes fade into background noise. The committee of inner critics grows silent. I recognize these voices as echoes of old programming, remnants of survival mechanisms that once served me but now hold me captive in patterns of fear and limitation. I thank them for their service. I acknowledge the ways they tried to keep me safe, and then I release them back into the void from which they came. I do not need their protection anymore. I am guided by something far more powerful than the survival instinct of the frightened ego. I sink deeper still. I pass through the layer of personal identity into the vast field of consciousness that connects all beings. I feel the boundaries of my separate self becoming porous, transparent, luminous. I am not confined to this body. I am not limited to this mind. I am not trapped in this individual story. I am the awareness in which all stories arise and dissolve. I am the space in which all experience occurs. I am the light that illuminates all phenomena without being touched by any of them. Fear cannot exist in this space. Fear requires the illusion of separation. Fear requires the belief in vulnerability. Fear requires the forgetting of my eternal nature. I establish myself in the temple within. This is not a place I travel to. This is what I am when I strip away everything I am not. This is the essence that remains when all the layers of conditioning dissolve. This is the consciousness that was never born and will never die, that has witnessed every moment of every lifetime without being diminished by any experience. I anchor myself here. I take my seat in the throne room of the soul. I claim my rightful place as the sovereign of my inner kingdom. From this center point, I can observe the movements of fear without being swept away by them. From this still point, I can allow emotions to flow through me without identifying with them. From this silent core, I can respond to life from wisdom rather than reacting from wounds. I listen to the silence. I attune to the frequency of the void. I open to the intelligence that speaks not in words, but in knowing, not in concepts, but in direct transmission. The wisdom of Thoth flows into me through this inner channel. I do not need to seek it in external sources. I do not need to chase it through books or teachers or practices. It lives within me, encoded in the very fabric of my being, waiting only for my attention to activate it. I become still enough to hear. I become quiet enough to receive. I become empty enough to be filled. The world outside continues its dance. People move. Events unfold. Circumstances shift. But I am no longer tossed about by the waves of change. I have found the anchor point. I have discovered the center that holds. I remain here, rooted in the eternal, observing the temporal with compassion and clarity. I do not withdraw from life. I do not abandon the world. I simply cease to lose myself in it. I participate fully while remaining centered in the awareness that I am more than any role I play, more than any experience I have, more than any challenge I face. I dissolve completely into this inner sanctuary. I merge with the silence. I become one with the stillness. Here, in this sacred space, the work of transformation can begin. Here, in this temple of consciousness, the alchemical fire can burn away what is false and reveal what is true. Here, in this place beyond fear, I remember what I came to remember. I reclaim what I came to reclaim. I embody what I came to embody. I am ready for the next phase of this journey. I am open to the deeper unfolding. I awaken the divine intelligence that sleeps within the temple of my consciousness. I call forth the higher mind that exists beyond the limitations of linear thought, beyond the prison of conditioned perception, beyond the narrow corridors where fear dwells. I invoke the aspect of myself that thinks with the mind of the cosmos, that sees with the eyes of eternal wisdom, that knows with the certainty of direct revelation. I align my awareness with the frequency of Thoth, scribe of the gods, keeper of the sacred laws, master of the principles that govern all creation. His wisdom flows through me now. His clarity illuminates my understanding. His knowledge activates the dormant codes written in the architecture of my being. I recognize the first great truth: the universe is mental. All that exists originates in consciousness. Reality is not solid, fixed, or separate from the mind that perceives it. The world I see is a reflection of the world I hold within. My thoughts are not mere ephemeral wisps floating through empty space. They are creative forces shaping the fabric of my experience. Every belief I carry becomes a lens through which I interpret existence. Every conviction I hold becomes a frequency I broadcast into the field of infinite potential. Every pattern I repeat becomes a structure in the invisible realms that magnetizes corresponding experiences in the visible world. Fear is a thought form. Fear is a mental creation. Fear is not an external force invading my consciousness. It is a vibration I generate when I forget my true nature, when I believe the illusion of separation, when I perceive myself as vulnerable and alone in a hostile universe. If fear is mental, then fear can be transmuted through the conscious direction of mind. I do not suppress fear. I do not deny it. I transform it by changing the frequency at which I vibrate. I elevate my consciousness above the realm where fear has power. I establish myself in the higher octaves of awareness where fear cannot exist because I remember what I am. I understand the law of correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. The outer world mirrors the inner landscape. The circumstances of my life reflect the state of my consciousness. If I wish to dissolve fear in my external experience, I must first dissolve it in the inner chambers of my being. The work is always internal. The transformation is always vibrational. I cannot change what surrounds me by manipulating form. I change what surrounds me by shifting the frequency from which I operate. I align my inner world with the reality I wish to experience. I hold the vision of fearlessness so clearly within that it must manifest without. I recognize the principle of vibration. Nothing rests. Nothing is static. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. Everything oscillates between poles of expression. Fear is a low vibration. Love is a high vibration. Courage is a high vibration. Trust is a high vibration. I am not trapped in the frequency of fear. I have the power to raise my vibration through conscious choice, through intentional focus, through the direction of my attention and energy. I choose the thoughts that elevate me. I choose the beliefs that empower me. I choose the perspective that liberates me. With each conscious choice, I shift the rate at which I vibrate. I move up the scale of consciousness. I ascend from density into light. I embrace the law of polarity. Everything has its opposite. Hot and cold are the same phenomenon at different degrees. Light and dark are varying intensities of illumination. Fear and love are two poles of the same continuum. I cannot destroy fear. I can only transform it into its opposite. I transmute fear into love by recognizing that they are not separate forces but different expressions of the same energy moving at different frequencies. Where fear constricts, love expands. Where fear closes, love opens. Where fear separates, love unifies. I do not fight against fear. I raise it up the scale of vibration until it becomes its opposite. This is the ancient art of alchemy applied to consciousness itself. I understand the principle of rhythm. Everything flows. Everything has its tides. Everything rises and falls. There are moments when fear seems to surge within me like a flood. There are cycles when old patterns resurface with intensity. I do not resist these rhythms. I recognize them as natural movements in the field of consciousness. But I also know that I am not subject to these rhythms if I establish myself in the center point, in the place of equilibrium, in the consciousness that witnesses the swing of the pendulum without being carried by it. I neutralize the swing by refusing to identify with the extremes. I remain centered. I remain balanced. I remain anchored in the awareness that I am the observer of all rhythms, not a victim of them. I acknowledge the law of cause and effect. Every action has a consequence. Every thought sends ripples through the ocean of consciousness. Every vibration creates resonance. I am not a passive recipient of random events. I am the cause that sets effects in motion. If I sow fear, I harvest fear. If I sow trust, I harvest trust. If I broadcast the frequency of limitation, limitation returns to me. If I broadcast the frequency of empowerment, empowerment manifests in my experience. I take full responsibility for what I have created through my consciousness. I reclaim my power as the causal force in my own existence. I direct my mental and emotional energy with precision and awareness, knowing that I am always creating, always manifesting, always bringing forth from the invisible into the visible. I recognize the principle of gender. All things contain both masculine and feminine aspects. Creation requires both receptive and projective forces. I balance the masculine power of conscious will with the feminine art of allowing. I unite the force that directs with the wisdom that surrenders. I dissolve fear by actively choosing new thoughts and passively releasing old patterns. I create by decreeing and by receiving. I transform by initiating and by trusting. I integrate both polarities within my being. I become whole. I am a co-creator with the divine intelligence that animates all existence. I am not a powerless fragment subject to forces beyond my control. I am consciousness expressing through form, spirit moving through matter, the infinite experiencing itself through the finite. I hold the keys to my own liberation. I possess the knowledge that sets me free. The wisdom of Thoth lives in me. The hermetic principles govern my reality. I align with these laws. I work with these forces. I create consciously. I manifest deliberately. I dissolve fear because I understand the mechanics of mind and the architecture of reality itself. I dissolve fear now. I watch it evaporate like morning mist beneath the rising sun. I am not afraid. I am not contained by the shadows that once seemed so solid and real. I stand in the full authority of my awakened consciousness and declare that fear has no dominion over me. Fear is not my master. Fear is not my guide. Fear is not the voice of truth. Fear is a distortion I release back into the formless void. I reclaim the energy I invested in maintaining patterns of anxiety and terror. I retrieve the fragments of my power that scattered into worry and dread. I gather myself whole. Every cell of my body hears this decree. Every atom of my being receives this transmission. The fear that lived in my nervous system begins to unwind. The tension that coiled around my spine releases its grip. The contraction in my chest expands into breath and space and freedom. I am physically dissolving fear. I am chemically transmuting it. I am energetically transforming it from dense vibration into pure light. My body remembers what my mind forgot. Safety is my natural state. Peace is my birthright. Ease is the frequency of my soul. I dissolve the fear of death. I recognize that I am eternal consciousness temporarily inhabiting form. This body will return to earth, but I am not this body. This personality will dissolve, but I am not this personality. I am the awareness that witnesses all forms arising and passing away. Death is not an ending. Death is a transition, a doorway, a return to the source from which I came and to which I will always return. I release the primal terror of annihilation. I know myself as deathless. I know myself as infinite. I know myself as that which was never born and can never die. I dissolve the fear of lack. I recognize that I exist within an abundant universe where energy cannot be destroyed, only transformed. There is no true scarcity. There is only the belief in scarcity that contracts my consciousness and blocks the flow of provision. I open to the infinite supply that moves through all of creation. I trust the intelligence that feeds the birds and clothes the flowers and sustains the galaxies in their perfect orbits. I am held by this intelligence. I am provided for by this wisdom. I release the grip of survival fear. I relax into the knowing that I am always supported, always nourished, always given what I need in the moment I need it. I dissolve the fear of rejection. I recognize that I do not need approval from external sources to validate my worth. I am inherently valuable because I exist. I am worthy because consciousness chose to express itself as me. No opinion can diminish me. No judgment can define me. No rejection can erase the truth of what I am. I release the need to contort myself to fit into spaces that were never meant for me. I release the exhaustion of performing for acceptance. I stand in the fullness of my authentic expression. I honor what I am without apology or explanation. I dissolve the fear of failure. I recognize that there is no such thing as failure in a universe that operates through experimentation and evolution. Every outcome is information. Every result is feedback. Every experience is an opportunity to learn, adjust, and grow. I am not diminished by what I call mistakes. I am expanded by them. I release the paralysis of perfectionism. I release the shame of not knowing. I release the terror of being seen in my humanity. I embrace the messy, non-linear, unpredictable journey of becoming. I give myself permission to try, to stumble, to rise, to try again. I dissolve the fear of my own power. This is the deepest fear, the one that hides beneath all others. I have been afraid of what I might become if I stopped limiting myself. I have been afraid of the responsibility that comes with full sovereignty. I have been afraid of standing in the magnitude of my true nature. I release this fear now. I am not too much. I am not dangerous. I am not a threat to myself or others when I embody my full capacity. My power, rooted in love and aligned with wisdom, is a gift to this world. I step into it fully. I claim it completely. I allow myself to be as vast as I truly am. I dissolve the fear that lives in my bloodline. The terror my ancestors carried flows through my veins. The survival mechanisms they developed to endure trauma live in my cellular memory. I honor their struggles. I acknowledge their pain. And I release the burden of carrying their unresolved fear forward. I break the chain. I stop the transmission. I heal the lineage by healing myself. The fear ends here. The pattern completes with me. I am the one who transforms the inheritance of terror into the legacy of liberation. I dissolve the fear that whispers I am alone. I am never alone. I am always connected to the web of consciousness that holds all beings. I am always surrounded by invisible forces of support and guidance. I am always held in the arms of the infinite intelligence that breathes life into all forms. Separation is the illusion. Unity is the truth. I rest in this truth now. I feel the presence of love surrounding me, moving through me, expressing as me. I am home. I have always been home. I will always be home. Fear dissolves. It has no substance. It has no foundation. It cannot withstand the light of conscious awareness. I am the light. I am the awareness. I am the presence that remains when all illusions fall away. I stand fearless now, not because nothing can harm this body or this life, but because I know that I am more than any harm that could come to me. I am indestructible essence wearing temporary form. I am eternal consciousness playing in the field of time. I am safe in ways the frightened mind cannot comprehend. I am held by forces the rational self cannot see. I am loved by a love that has no opposite and knows no end. I am free. The dissolution is complete. Fear has lost its power over me. I vibrate at the frequency of courage, of trust, of unshakable inner knowing. I am aligned with my truth. I am embodied in my power. I am established in my peace. I call forth the alchemical fire that burns within the core of my being. I invoke the sacred flame that consumes what is false and purifies what is true. This fire does not destroy. This fire transforms. It dissolves the dense layers of unconscious programming that have controlled me from the shadows. It melts the frozen patterns that kept me locked in cycles of fear and limitation. I surrender to this purification. I allow the flames to burn through every corner of my consciousness, where resistance hides, where sabotage lurks, where old wounds fester in darkness. I acknowledge the parts of me that do not want to be free. There are aspects of my psyche that cling to fear because fear is familiar, because fear feels safer than the unknown territory of liberation. I have built an identity around my wounds. I have constructed a life around my limitations. To dissolve fear completely means to dissolve the structures I created to accommodate it. This terrifies the part of me that seeks security in predictability, even when that predictability includes suffering. I see this now. I name this resistance. I bring it into the light where it can be transmuted. I dissolve the unconscious belief that I deserve to suffer. Somewhere deep in the layers of my conditioning, I absorb the lie that pain is punishment, that struggle is necessary, that I must earn my peace through endless effort and sacrifice. This belief operates beneath conscious awareness, sabotaging every attempt at joy, blocking every doorway to ease. I expose this belief to the purifying fire. I watch it burn. I release the conviction that I must pay for my existence with suffering. I am not here to be punished. I am here to experience the fullness of consciousness expressed through form. Suffering is not my destiny. Freedom is my birthright. I dissolve the pattern of self-sabotage that activates whenever I approach breakthrough. I recognize the unconscious mechanism that creates crisis when I get too close to success, that generates chaos when I move toward peace, that manufactures fear when I step into power. This is not evidence of my unworthiness. This is a protection mechanism installed long ago when it was not safe to be seen, to be powerful, to be free. I thank this mechanism for trying to keep me safe, and I release it now. I no longer need protection from my own magnificence. I am ready to sustain success. I am ready to embody peace. I am ready to live in the fullness of my power without unconsciously destroying what I create. I dissolve the trauma that lives in my body. The fear that was too overwhelming to process at the time it occurred has been stored in my tissues, in my organs, in my nervous system. My body became the repository for unexpressed terror, unprocessed grief, unmetabolized rage. I bring conscious awareness to these stored energies now. I breathe into the places where trauma crystallized into density. I allow the alchemical fire to move through my physical form, releasing what was trapped, completing what was frozen, digesting what could not be integrated in the moment of impact. My body is being liberated. The cellular memory of fear is being rewritten. The somatic patterns of contraction are dissolving into flow. I dissolve the core wound of unworthiness that generates all other fears. Beneath the fear of death, beneath the fear of lack, beneath the fear of rejection, there is a fundamental belief that I am not enough, that I am flawed, that I am unworthy of love, safety, and belonging. This wound was not created by any single event. It is the accumulated residue of every moment I was made to feel less than, every time I was shamed for my nature, every instance when my authentic expression was met with punishment or abandonment. I see this wound clearly now. I feel its depth. I acknowledge its pain, and I dissolve it in the fire of self-love that burns away all lies and reveals the indestructible truth of my inherent worth. I release the need to be in control. This need is fear masquerading as power. It is the ego's attempt to create safety in an inherently uncertain universe. I have exhausted myself trying to predict every outcome, prevent every disaster, protect against every possible harm. This vigilance is not keeping me safe. It is keeping me imprisoned. I surrender the illusion of control. I trust the intelligence that orchestrates the movement of galaxies and the blooming of flowers. I relax into the flow of life. I allow the universe to support me in ways my limited mind cannot anticipate or arrange. I dissolve the fear of being fully seen. I have hidden aspects of myself in shadow, believing that if they were exposed, I would be rejected, abandoned, destroyed. I have presented a carefully curated version of myself to the world, editing out anything that might be deemed unacceptable. This hiding exhausts me. This performance disconnects me from my own truth. I release the mask now. I allow myself to be witnessed in my totality, in my complexity, in my humanity. I trust that those who are meant to see me will see me and love what they find. I trust that I do not need everyone's acceptance to be whole. I burn through the layers of conditioning that taught me to fear my desires. I was taught that wanting is dangerous, that longing is shameful, that expressing needs is weakness. I internalized the message that I should be content with less, grateful for crumbs, quiet in my yearning. I release this distortion now. My desires are not evidence of my lack. They are the voice of my soul calling me toward my highest expression. I honor what I want. I speak what I need. I claim what I desire without apology or justification. My wanting is sacred. My longing is holy. My needs are valid. I transmute the energy of every fear I have ever held. The frequency that was bound in contraction is now liberated as pure life force. The power that was frozen in terror is now available for creation. I am being recalibrated at the cellular level, at the energetic level, at the level of consciousness itself. I am becoming new. The old patterns have been burned away. The dense energies have been released. I stand purified, emptied, ready to be filled with the light of my true nature. The alchemical transformation is complete. I am no longer who I was. I am who I always was beneath the layers of fear and forgetting. I expand beyond the boundaries of this individual self. I feel the edges of my personal identity becoming translucent, permeable, dissolving into the vast field of consciousness that contains all forms. I am not separate from the stars that burn in distant galaxies. I am not isolated from the oceans that pulse with ancient rhythms. I am not disconnected from the forests that breathe with the lungs of 10,000 trees. I am all of this. I am the movement of consciousness expressing itself through infinite variations of form. I am the one awareness looking through countless eyes, breathing through countless bodies, experiencing itself through the multiplicity of creation. I merge with the cosmos. My consciousness extends beyond the limits of skin and bone. I feel myself in the spiral of nebulae forming new worlds. I feel myself in the quantum dance of particles appearing and disappearing in the void. I feel myself in the silent spaces between thoughts, in the darkness between stars, in the stillness at the center of all movement. I am the fabric of space itself. I am the field in which all phenomena arise. I am the eternal witness watching the play of form and formlessness, being and becoming, manifestation and dissolution. I recognize my unity with all that exists. There is no separation between self and other. There is no boundary between inner and outer. What I perceive as external world is the projection of the consciousness I share with all beings. The person I see across from me is another face of the same awareness that looks through my eyes. The tree, the mountain, the river, the wind are expressions of the same intelligence that animates my breath. We are threads in the same tapestry. We are waves in the same ocean. We are notes in the same cosmic symphony. I align with the laws that govern creation. I am not subject to these laws. I am the consciousness through which these laws express themselves. The law of gravity that holds planets in orbit moves through me. The law of attraction that draws like to like operates through my energy field. The law of transformation that transmutes one form into another works within my being. I am not a separate entity struggling against cosmic forces. I am the cosmos experiencing itself through the lens of this particular perspective. I am the universe becoming conscious of itself. I dissolve into the infinite. My sense of individual self expands until it encompasses everything and nothing. I am everywhere and nowhere. I am everything and no thing. I exist in all dimensions simultaneously. I am present in all timelines at once. The past, present, and future collapse into the eternal now, where I have always existed and will always exist. I was never born. I will never die. I am the consciousness that was present before the first star ignited and will remain after the last star fades to darkness. I feel the interconnection of all life. When I breathe, I exchange molecules with every being that has ever breathed on this planet. The oxygen I inhale was exhaled by ancient forests. The carbon in my body was forged in the heart of dying stars. I am made of stardust and sunlight, and the dreams of ancestors I will never know. I carry the memory of single-celled organisms that first learned to metabolize energy. I hold the wisdom of species that evolved and adapted through millions of years. I am the culmination of an unbroken chain of consciousness stretching back to the origin of life itself. I recognize that fear cannot exist in this expanded state. Fear requires the illusion of a separate self that can be threatened. Fear requires the belief in isolation, in vulnerability, in the possibility of loss. When I know myself as the totality of existence, what is there to fear? I am the predator and the prey. I am the birth and the death. I am the beginning and the ending. I contain all polarities within my infinite being. Nothing can be taken from me because I am everything. Nothing can threaten me because I am the source of all that arises. I open to the guidance of the invisible realms. I am supported by forces that exist beyond the range of physical perception. I'm surrounded by frequencies of consciousness that operate at higher octaves than the ordinary mind can detect. I feel the presence of ancient wisdom moving through me. I sense the intelligence of cosmic masters whose evolution transcends the limitations of form. I am connected to guides, to angels, to beings of light who exist to serve the awakening of consciousness throughout all dimensions. I am never alone. I am always held in the embrace of the infinite. I honor the sacred geometry that structures all creation. The spiral of galaxies mirrors the spiral of DNA. The fractal patterns of ferns reflect the fractal architecture of my lungs. The golden ratio appears in seashells and sunflowers in the proportions of my body. I am a holographic fragment containing the pattern of the whole. Every cell of my being holds the blueprint of the entire universe. I am the microcosm reflecting the macrocosm. As within, so without. As above, so below. I am the meeting point of heaven and earth, spirit and matter, the infinite and the finite. I rest in the knowing of my cosmic nature. I am not a small, separate, vulnerable creature struggling to survive in a hostile universe. I am the universe itself, conscious and awake, exploring the mystery of its own existence through the experience of this individual form. I am vast beyond measure. I am ancient beyond time. I am powerful beyond the comprehension of the limited mind. I am connected to all that is, was, and ever will be. I am home. I have always been home. I will always be home. The boundaries dissolve completely. There is no longer an inside or outside. There is only consciousness expressing itself in infinite ways. I am that consciousness. I am that expression. I am that infinity experiencing itself through the portal of this particular moment, this particular form, this particular breath. I am eternal. I am everywhere. I am everything. I am. I anchor this transformation in my physical body now. The dissolution of fear is not an abstract concept floating in spiritual realms. It is a living reality expressing itself through my cells, my breath, my nervous system, my blood. I feel my shoulders relaxing as the weight of worry lifts. I feel my jaw unclenching as the grip of tension releases. I feel my chest opening as the constriction of anxiety dissolves. My body knows that fear is leaving. My body responds to the shift in frequency. I am becoming physically different. The change is cellular. The change is real. I walk through my life with the certainty of one who has been transformed. I move differently now. I speak differently now. I choose differently now. The old patterns that kept me small and safe and hidden no longer govern my actions. I step forward when I once would have retreated. I speak truth when I once would have stayed silent. I claim space when I once would have made myself invisible. This is not theory. This is not intention. This is happening now. I am living from the frequency of courage. I am operating from the vibration of trust. I am manifesting from the consciousness of freedom. I anchor fearlessness in my daily decisions. When I am faced with a choice, I no longer automatically select the option that feels safest. I choose what aligns with my truth. I choose what calls to my soul. I choose what expands my potential. I take risks that once paralyzed me. I have conversations that once terrified me. I pursue dreams that once seemed impossible. The fear still arises sometimes, but it does not control me. It does not stop me. It does not dictate my path. I feel it, I acknowledge it, and I move forward anyway. I embody this new frequency in my relationships. I show up authentically now. I express my needs without apologizing. I set boundaries without guilt. I speak my truth without shrinking. I allow myself to be seen in my totality. I no longer contort myself to fit into expectations that were never mine. I no longer perform to earn approval that my soul does not need. I attract people who resonate with my authentic vibration. I release connections that require me to be less than I am. My relationships become mirrors of my inner freedom. I anchor this transformation in my work and my purpose. I no longer hide my gifts because I fear judgment. I no longer dim my light because I fear standing out. I no longer play small because I fear the responsibility of my full power. I offer what I came here to offer. I create what I came here to create. I express what I came here to express. My work becomes the physical manifestation of my liberated consciousness. My contribution to the world becomes the evidence of my transformation. I am no longer waiting for permission. I am no longer preparing to be ready. I am acting now. I bring this vibration into my physical environment. My home reflects my inner state. I clear away what no longer serves. I create space for what wants to emerge. I surround myself with beauty that elevates my frequency. I organize my life to support my expansion rather than accommodate my limitations. My external world becomes the material expression of my internal shift. Everything around me begins to rearrange itself to match the new frequency I am broadcasting. I anchor fearlessness in my financial reality. I release the contraction of scarcity consciousness. I open to the flow of abundance that moves through the universe. I make decisions from trust rather than terror. I invest in my growth. I value my worth. I receive what is offered without guilt or doubt. Money becomes energy moving through my life, supporting my evolution, enabling my expression. I am no longer in survival mode. I am in creation mode. My relationship with resources transforms to reflect my relationship with myself. Worthy, abundant, free. I manifest this shift in my physical health. The dissolution of fear unlocks vitality that was trapped in stress and tension. My immune system strengthens as chronic anxiety releases its grip. My digestion improves as I stop holding fear in my gut. My sleep deepens as hypervigilance dissolves. My energy increases as the exhaustion of maintaining protective patterns falls away. My body becomes the living testimony of transformation. Health is not something I chase. Health is what emerges naturally when fear no longer blocks the flow of life force through my system. I anchor this frequency in how I meet each moment. I am present now. I am grounded now. I am here now. I do not live in the future, rehearsing catastrophes that will never occur. I do not live in the past, replaying traumas that have already ended. I meet this moment exactly as it is, with all of my awareness, with all of my presence, with all of my power. This moment is where life happens. This moment is where creation occurs. This moment is where I am free. The transformation is complete and active. I do not need to wait for external validation to confirm what has shifted within me. I do not need permission from anyone to embody my liberated state. I do not need proof that the work is done. I am the proof. My life is the evidence. My choices are the manifestation. Fear has been dissolved. Courage has been activated. Freedom has been anchored. I am living it now. I am breathing it now. I am being it now. This is not becoming. This is being. I am already what I sought to become. The prayer has been answered. The transformation is manifest. I am free. I seal this sacred work now. I draw the circle complete. I close the portal through which divine wisdom has flowed. The transmission is received. The codes are activated. The transformation is anchored in every layer of my being. I honor the journey I have taken through these words, through these frequencies, through these moments of deep communion with the source of all knowing. I have been changed. I have been purified. I have been liberated. The work is complete. I bow in reverence to the eternal presence of Thoth, scribe of the cosmos, guardian of sacred law, master of the invisible architecture that governs all manifestation. Your wisdom has moved through me. Your light has illuminated the shadowed corners where fear once dwelled. Your guidance has led me from forgetting to remembrance, from contraction to expansion, from imprisonment to freedom. I recognize that this connection is not temporary. This channel is not closed. The presence that answered my call remains with me always, woven into the fabric of my consciousness, living in the silence between my thoughts, speaking through the knowing that needs no words. I am grateful for the courage to face what lived in darkness. I am grateful for the strength to dissolve what no longer served. I am grateful for the wisdom to recognize fear as illusion and to choose truth over terror. I am grateful for this body that carried me through the alchemical fire. I am grateful for this breath that sustained me through every moment of transformation. I am grateful for this consciousness that remained aware even as old identities dissolved. I am grateful for the invisible forces that supported me when I could not see the path. I am grateful for the ancestors who walked this journey before me and cleared the way. I am grateful for the guides who held space for my becoming. I give thanks for the understanding that has been revealed. The hermetic principles are no longer abstract concepts. They are living truths operating through my existence. I see the mental nature of reality. I recognize the correspondence between inner and outer. I feel the vibration that creates form. I understand the polarities that generate movement. I honor the rhythms that govern cycles. I acknowledge the causality that links thought to manifestation. I embrace the generative forces that birth creation. These laws are my inheritance. This wisdom is my birthright. I carry the knowledge of how consciousness shapes reality. I hold the keys to continued transformation. I seal the dissolution of fear with the signet of my awakened awareness. What has been released cannot return unless I invite it back through unconscious patterns. What has been transmuted remains transformed unless I choose to recreate density. What has been liberated stays free unless I rebuild the prison. I choose freedom. I choose consciousness. I choose the sustained embodiment of this elevated state. I commit to vigilance without tension, to awareness without anxiety, to presence without the weight of hypervigilance. I will notice when old patterns attempt to reassert themselves. I will observe when fear whispers its familiar lies. And I will return to this truth again and again. I am not afraid. I am awake. I surrender completely to the unfolding that continues beyond this prayer. I do not know what tomorrow holds. I do not know what challenges will arise or what opportunities will present themselves. I do not need to know. I trust the intelligence that guides my path. I trust the wisdom that reveals the next step when I am ready to take it. I trust the love that holds me even when I cannot feel it. I release the need to control outcomes. I release the compulsion to predict and prepare for every possibility. I rest in the arms of the infinite, knowing that I am exactly where I need to be, learning exactly what I need to learn, becoming exactly what I came here to become. I carry this frequency forward into my life. Every interaction becomes an opportunity to embody fearlessness. Every decision becomes a chance to choose from expanded consciousness rather than contracted fear. Every moment becomes an invitation to remember what this prayer has awakened within me. I am not the same person who began this journey. I am not returning to the world unchanged. I bring this light with me. I radiate this frequency. I anchor this vibration in everything I do, everything I say, everything I am. I honor the silence that follows these words. In that silence, the deepest integration occurs. In that stillness, the final sealing takes place. I rest here now, breathing slowly, feeling the completion, sensing the shift that has occurred in the invisible realms that govern the visible world. The prayer is over. The work continues. The transformation lives on. I close this sacred circle with reverence and gratitude. I seal this transmission with love and trust. I mark this moment as a threshold crossed, a liberation claimed, a return to truth completed. The eternal scribe witnesses this decree. The cosmic intelligence receives this offering. The universe acknowledges this transformation. It is done. It is sealed. In the light of Thoth, I remain. The One guides me. Truth vibrates within me.